Hello and welcome to my YouTube channel. This is Ramani Online Mathematics. If you know you have not subscribed, do your best to subscribe for me. Share it to your colleagues and let them also enjoy it. Today we are looking at the indirect proportion. Already we have looked at the direct proportion where we said that an increase in one quantity causes the other quantity to also increase, and decrease in the other quantity causes the other quantity to also decrease. The same thing, but here is opposite to the first one. When it comes to the indirect, it's when an increase in one quantity causes the other quantity to also decrease, and then decrease in the other quantity causes the other quantity to increase. A typical example is when you're using your pen or this marker pen that I'm using. The more I write, the less the ink of the pen becomes. Is that okay? Yes. So that is the meaning. So that is the definition I've given to you. Indirect proportion involves comparison of two quantities such that an increase in one quantity causes a decrease in the other quantity and vice versa. So let's look at example. Before I look at this example, let's assume that you put three girls in a room to sweep, and those three girls use 10 minutes to sweep the room. What will happen if you put 10 girls in the same room to work or sweep at the same rate? Do you think the time will increase or decrease? The time will decrease because as three people, they use what? 10 minutes. So 10 people don't expect that they will use the same 10 minutes. They'll use something that is less than that. Much, much less than that. So that is the meaning of the indirect. So now let's look at how we can solve this. It takes 6 days for men, 4 men, okay, 4 men, 4 men to weed a plot of land, okay. It takes 6 days for 4 men to weed a plot of land. How long will it take 8 men working at the same rate? The reason why I like using or we use the same rate is that if you increase the men and they go there and they don't use the same rate and they work faster than the 6 men or they work slower than the 6 men, the aim here cannot be achieved. Yes. So same rate to weed the same plot of land. Okay. So now we still consider our ratio. And just let me remind you, I told you that for the ratio, days goes with days. I mean, men goes with men. Similar things have to come together. You don't use, 6 days to 8 men. No, you don't do that. Men, days. So here, what are you looking for? We are looking for um how long. So we are looking for the days 8 men are going to use to read the same plot. Let me remind you this, because this is indirect. In other way, you can also call it what? Inverse. Is that okay? So what's the meaning of inverse in this sense? When I have 3 over 2, the inverse of 3 over 2 is 2 over what? 3. Is that okay? When I have negative 2, I can say negative 2. The inverse is positive 2. It's normal. The same thing if I have 3 is to 2. The inverse of 3 is to 2 can also be what? 2 is to 3. 3 is to 2 is 3 over 2, which is what? 2 over 3. So that's the meaning. Is that okay? So that's what you're going to do here. So this is what you're going to do. 6 days for 4 men. So let's x represents the number of days. Okay. So if x is representing number of days, first let's look at the ratio of men. So our ratio of men is going to be 4 against what? 8. Is that okay? So you have 4 is to 8. Then you also look at the ratio of days. So the ratio of days is going to be 6 against what? X. 6 against x. Okay. Now look at what you are going to do here. Because here this is talking about the indirect. How would you know that the question is even indirect? Because they will not tell you that this is indirect question. Okay. So how would you know? For you to know that this is indirect question, look at just read the question and understand. 6 days for 4 men. 8 men, how many days are they going to use? So definitely this won't be as one increasing, one is increasing, as one decreasing, one is decreasing. No, this is not possible. So this tells that this is indirect. So once that this is indirect here, what you're going to do here is that you either change the position of this the men or the position of the days. You take the inverse of it. You don't change two of them. It's only one, either the position of the men or position of the days. Any one of them you change is appropriate. So here, if I'm changing the position of the days, I'm going to have x is what 6. So you're going to use this one and this to work. This is direct. This and that is direct. So if you want to make it indirect, we just change position of either this or that. So I'm changing the second one. So this is going to be 4 is to 8 is equals to x is to what 6. The idea of proportion. So that I have 4 over 8 equals x over 6. 4 over 8 is the same as 1 over 2 equals x over 6. 2 times x is what? 2x equals 1 times 6 is 6. Divide both sides by 2. 2 going to 2, 1. So we have x equals 2 going to 6, 3. So you conclude, therefore, it will take 3 days for 8 men to read the same plot, okay, at the same rate. So that's how you do it. The only difficult or the different thing here is that you interchange them. If somebody also interchange the 4 and 8 and maintain the 6 is to x, and the person works, the person is going to get the same answer. Is that okay? So you interchange one of the either this or that. Is that okay? Good. Let's look at the second example. Now let's look at the second example. It took 12 minutes for 8 girls to sweep a classroom. There's a classroom. Full stop. How many girls can sweep the same classroom at the same work rate in 4 minutes? You can pause the video and solve it. So the minute has been given. So we let J represent the number of girls that can sweep the classroom, that can sweep the same classroom in what? 4 minutes. Is that okay? So first let's look at the ratio of the time, okay? So that's 12 is towards 4. And you also look at the ratio of girls. So it took 12 minutes for 8 girls. So 8 is to J. The other ones we have represented by J. You are saying that when it comes to the indirect, the interchanges become J is what? 8. So you are going to have 12 over 4 is equals to 8 over what? J. Sorry. J over what? 8. So in this case, 4 going to 12 3 times equals, so that will be 3 over 1 equals J over what? 8. J times 1 is J. 8 times 3 is 24 girls, okay? So you conclude, therefore, we will need 24 girls in to sweep the classroom in what? 4 minutes. In 4 minutes. So that is how we go about it. Now let's look at the last example. If a car traveling at 80 kilometers per hour takes 3 hours, so every 80 kilometers takes 3 hours to cover a certain distance, how long will it take another car traveling at 60 kilometers per hour to cover the same distance? So try this and leave the answer in the comment section. Thank you very much.